Hello guys, welcome back to our channel CS Tech Vidya. Okay, so this is second video in our problem solving with Python playlist. Okay, so in first video we have seen course module and introduction about me and what we're gonna get in the playlist. Okay, so in the second video, so before jumping into actual Python concepts, so we will see I will little explore on what is programming language and how every language works. So inside the computer and all, we'll see any very high level. Okay, so if any beginner if you are from non-IT background, so if you don't understand this topic or concept, so please ignore, don't worry about this. Okay, so my intention to do this video is everyone should aware what is the basics. Okay, how what is the programming language and how it works, how the computer will execute the instructions and all. It's kind of typical like a program life cycle. Okay, so you can consider it as a program life cycle. Okay, yes, so we'll see what is programming. Okay, what is programming? Programming is the process of giving instructions to the computer. Okay na? Yes, so what is programming? Programming is the process of giving instructions to computer. So what are these instructions? Okay, what are these instructions? It can be anything, if you are doing a calculator program. Okay, calculator program. Okay, so collecting the inputs. Okay, collecting the inputs and writing the logic. Okay, writing the logic. So if user chooses a plus operator, so what kind of operation we need to perform. Okay, so minus, subtraction, multiplication, so what type of operation we have to write. So all these are called instructions. Okay na? So all these are called instructions. Okay, so ఈ instructions మనం ఎవరికి ఇస్తున్నాం? We are giving it to the computer. Okay na? We are giving these instructions to the computer. Okay, so we'll see, but computer can understand only zeros and ones. Okay, computer can understand zeros and ones. Can you assume? So writing entire calculator program with representation of only zeros and ones, it is very difficult, right? But computer can understand only zeros and ones. So how we can implement our calculator program? Okay, so implement such kind of instructions. Okay na? So whatever the instructions which we have given, so that instruction should understandable to computer and computer should able to perform the activity. So that is the art of programming, guys. Okay na? So that is the art of our programming. Okay, so let's just little introduction about the computer. Okay, so you take any computer, a laptop or server, anything. Okay, it will have some OS, operating system, and it will have some memory, processor, CPU and NIC, network interface card. Correct? Yes, you take any activity, not only programming. Okay, if you are opening any PDF file or video or image or anything on your laptop, okay, so that will be done by this hardware, guys. Okay, so this hardware, so computer executes your zeros and ones using this hardware. Okay, so through our programming language, so far we have not seen what is programming language, but I'm telling, so through our programming language, how we can interact with the hardware. Okay, so with help of programming language, how we can interact with the hardware, because hardware only can execute our activity. Correct? Hardware only can interpret our instructions and it will execute our activity and it gives the output. Correct? Yes, so to understand the hardware, to pass the instructions to the hardware, there is an operating system, so which will help us to do this job, guys. Okay na? So as a programmer, as a developer, it can be Python, Java or C, C++, you no need to worry how to interact with the hardware. Okay na? So you just focus on your logic, build your programming instructions, do your programs, make them run successfully, just give it to the computer. Okay na? So computer, the operating system, underlying operating system, it will read your instructions and it will give it to the hardware, CPU, and it will execute and it will give the output. So that's it. It's very simple. Okay na? So every underlying layer abstracted. Okay na? So you no need to worry about low level things. Okay, so in typical applications, okay, you take any applications. Okay, so in general, okay, this application can be Python, Java, C, C++. Okay, you take any application. Okay, you build your application with your programming language and deploy it in laptop. Okay, this operating system, underlying operating system, it can be Windows, Linux, Mac, anything. Okay, yes, Windows, Linux, Mac, anything. Okay, it will take your instructions and it will give it to the hardware. Okay, it will give it to the hardware. This hardware will interpret your instructions into zeros and ones, and it will execute our, it will perform our job. Okay, execute our program. Okay, this is how any application, even it is AI or any application, it follows this life cycle. Okay, na? It follows this life cycle. Okay, so our programming language will write instructions in plain English, but how it will convert into zeros and ones, we'll see it next step. Okay, so to simplify this process, okay, na? To simplify this process, to make the developers flexible, okay, to make the developer's job easier. Okay, so they have classified into 3 levels. Okay, so one is machine level language, low level language, high level language. Machine level language only understands and zeros and ones, and it is only for hardware. Okay, na? It is only for your hardware. Okay, so what is low level language, we'll see. Okay, na? So machine level language, this is the only language the CPU understands. Okay, it only understands the instructions in zeros and ones. So this is our calculator. If you assume this is our calculate program, so you don't know what is 1, what is 0, what is this section, what is this section, what is this section, correct? But CPU can interpret these instructions properly. Okay, and it is very fastest because CPU understands only zeros and ones, so that's why it will interpret these zeros and ones easily. Okay, yes. Next, low level language. So low level language is nothing but English like commands instead of zeros and ones. Okay, so let's assume you wanted to perform some addition. Okay, you need two inputs, two values. Okay, so A and B, you are performing addition by passing the command. Okay, so in low level language we will have some mnemonics and some commands. Okay, some commands. So it is very difficult, right? Remembering the commands, writing them, place them in a proper order, give the proper instructions, proper variables or proper values. It is very difficult, right? But compared to machine level language, it is easy. Compared to machine level language, it is easy. Okay, so yes, okay, so we have written instructions in this English like language. Then how does these instructions will be converted to zeros and ones? Okay, so these language vendors, along with this language instructions, syntax and semantics and rules, they have given one more program called assembler. It is again a programmer. Okay, okay, assembler. So the assembler, what it does is, it takes your instructions written in zero English and it will convert them into zeros and ones. Okay, na? So it will convert those instructions into zeros and ones. So it will generate, basically it generates the machine code. This machine code will be passed to CPU by OS. Okay, so this CPU can understand zeros and ones and it will execute the intended functionality of this program. Okay, so this is how machine level languages. Okay, this is very close to machine level language. Okay, but the problem is it is very difficult to remember the commands, giving the proper instructions, defining the variables and values. It is very difficult. Okay, though it is looks like an English language. Okay, to overcome these features, they have written, they have implemented high level languages. Okay, na? High level languages, so close to English like statements. Okay, na? So you take this program. Okay, this is simple addition of two numbers. Okay, we are taking one variable, one number 10, 20, and we are doing some addition. Okay, that's it. You don't worry about how this converted into zeros and ones. You don't need to worry. Just write down whatever the instructions you want. Just know the programming language syntax and rules. Just follow them, follow those rules, and develop your instructions. That's it. So these are called as a high level programming languages. Okay, you no need to worry about the interacting with the hardware. You no need to worry about the memory allocation, deallocation. You no need to worry about the underlying hardware. So everything is abstracted, guys. Okay, na? So these programming vendors, okay, who have developed this program languages, Python, Java, C, C++, they have written some intermediate programs. Okay, na? They have given intermediate programs. Those intermediate programs, it will convert your plain English instructions to zeros and ones. Okay, so some languages follows compilation. Okay, na? Some languages follows compiler, some languages follows interpreter. We'll see what is compiler, what is interpreter in our next video. Okay, yes, in our upcoming videos. Okay, these are high level languages. See, this is very easy, right? So as a human being, so we can easily interpret, like I mean, by following this respective language syntax, so we can easily develop this programs. Okay, so this will ease our job and we will get the flexibility, everyone can understand. Okay, so this is a lot of freedom. Okay, yes, and it takes less time to develop the application. Okay, so this is about machine level language, low level language, high level languages. Okay, so in let's see some simple other language also. Okay, so this is Java. So same program, addition of two numbers. Okay, take one number, second number, and perform the logic. Okay, perform the addition. And this is our C program. So this is our C program. Okay, so in next video we'll use these examples. So why Python is simple and complex. I hope you are here itself you can see. So to do this simple program in Python we need some 3 lines of statements, but when it comes to Java we need to define all class, keywords, class name, declare the data type, and perform the addition, and we need to use the system.out.println. So these are these are instructions, correct?